side of the course probably will be favoured eventually. Asco easily best out of the leeward end, and look, they look like they can tack and cross everybody right now, don't they, Ian?
Yeah, I think so. That was the favour off the line. It's been there for a while, and you know, it's probably 8 or 9 boat lengths favoured to that end, but they're burning it up. They're in a right-hand shift now. It's hard to get out of there, so they had an opportunity.
Turned into Coffin Corner, mate.
Yeah. They don't want to get too greedy in there.
Well, at least they all got off the line without incident, and we've seen some tangles during the year to date. There's a little line of pressure down now, so no problem. 3 strings for everybody. Nice mid-range, big sail conditions. Probably 10 knots, 10, 11 where we are on the camera cat. What have we got on? Royal Oak on port. Just going to cross the Ketchamaker, so these guys have sailed a long way on starboard tack, and
bailing out now, right?
Yeah. Not very windy though. Just depends. Puffs out of the right and lulls out of the left in a certain sort of sense. But look at the left-handers now. They've got a good line of wind. Wow.
Smeg, the only one still going in there on starboard at the moment. All the rest of them are all tacked out.
Yeah, they're getting nice breeze coming around Bradley's head here and left-handed phase, but it'll come back. You know, the breeze is right on the southern shore, so you know this is a little bit of a temporary illusion, I think.
A temporary illusion. Don't you love that?
Just on the Asco now, they put a new rig in during the week, Bucko. They went out and had a little bit of a play around with it. And, it's a new, I'm not sure, I think it's a Southern Spar jobby.
Wow, and he's gone back for more.
Yeah, they've hit that breeze coming off the southern shore, and the reality was catching up, so they're going back to the casino, see if we can double up.
Well, nice on line. So enough wind here now. We're on a place on line, inverting in the puff and looking like an old-fashioned keelboat with too much sail up at the moment, the Van Munster and company, but they got through the puff and rolling in now. Noakes, who we think might go, I think might go well on handicap. Certainly in the hunt, but the guys hard right look pretty good, don't they, Ian?
Yeah, you've got Bingley coming out of the right, and Noakes was, you know, she was early out of the right, and so they come back relatively close. You've got the winning group going across, but Bingley and Ilve, you know, have led out of that right-hand side. They got to that southern shore and the more southerly breeze.
Yep. So overall now, we're now in a sort of a windy phase in a sense, and the wind across the course 10, 12, perhaps a little more, maybe even a bit of 14. We see Van Munster's opened his jib up a bit. He's going pretty fast though, isn't he?
I says because I tipped him.
You're the commentator's curse. He'll be in the tide shortly. Bingley leads, Ilve second, probably Royal Oak Hotel third, winning group fourth, Appliance is fifth, or something like that. But now hard right will pay, I think, so even the guys we're with here, Noakes, need to keep pressing into the right, I would say, looking at the wind we've got now. winning group probably best in the best spot, I would think. This big mainsail they got in looks has looked a bit shaky for the first few weeks.
Ah, yeah, the rig wasn't very well sorted. Wires were loose. Things hasn't been quite ready to sail, but hopefully it's a little bit better today.
He looks a bit more stable. He's pretty wobbly now. He's about to get to a line of solid right-hand pressure. So Ilve lost quite a bit just by stepping left. Not even very many boat lengths. So
the Ilve getting waved through on the appliances. Very ugly going by in the winning group.
That's one way to slow it down. Stick the leeward wing in the water. Jono Whitty on the wheel today.
Saw Josh McKnight over there on the Noakes, ex-Moth World champion.
Yeah.
Adding some skill there.
He working the main.
Yeah, he's on the main.
That's where all the skill is.
We know that. Sheet hands union here and here and, be careful.
It was always like that, wasn't it, Andrew?
You got it. Commanding lead, commanding lead. Amazing.
So the Asco going back for more and the kitchen maker coming out of the left, sneaking up there behind Bradley's head.
Not too bad, eh?
Yeah, well, it's probably a bit of current relief.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's paid off for those guys. They're sort of right in it.
Asco, I think, is pretty quick looking in here.
Yeah, the Bing Lee is having a good day.
Smashing it.
Got a guest on there, Dave Gilmore, Australian Sailing Team 49er sailor. So
Might bring a bit of upgrade to the pace.
where it gets really tricky from here up to that top mark.
What Kelly used to call the Dardanelles, mate. Dangerous waters.
Just on the kitchen maker here, Bucko.
Yeah, he's got a fair bit of sag. Looks alright apart from that, but sag's not in isolation of every other variable. Gee, the Asco burning on there. Wow.
Yeah, the Asco's got the bow down and
Motoring.
pretty open.
Yeah.
Bring that
No,
big...
he likes to sail with a fair bit of twist. The guys at the other end of the spectrum, as you no doubt observe, are the Finport, who we haven't actually seen in Big Rig, but they got a new main on today, so they and a kind of little crew change. They've got Marcus Ashley Jones steering and Keegan York on the usual steer on the main sheet, but no great loss, but maybe a bit of coordination.
Ooh.
Big puff here.
Yeah,
Asco inside out.
Puff.
Wow, great stuff. Nervous looking tack on the kitchen maker. They got out okay.
Yeah, nice tack.
These
Good job.
square top mains, Ian, don't make the boats too easy to tack, do they?
No, it's all taking these when they're overpowered like that big gust. It's a lot of finesse and balance and coordination between the three crew to make it work well.
And a lot of main sheet needs to go off because they are sailing with a lot of vang tension. And Ilvey in the tide down there. Asco nearly in the tide to the right of us.
Just going to drop down, Bucko, and get in behind Finport and have a look at their new mainsail and setup if you like, mate.
All good. Wow, so sorry troops. A bit of carnage on the track.
With Marcus Ashley Jones steering the Finport today, Keegan sliding forward onto the main. Get Andrew just to come around to the right a little bit, they're right in front of us.
Like I said, Jimmy, no loss there. Big lead.
And I guess the trap for these guys coming up so far up here underneath Point Piper, it's like sailing up at Drummoyne, I guess, Ian, like you've got plenty of breeze and then you got none.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of buildings on the foreshore. Some pretty high things, Point Piper itself's pretty high, so you know there's gusts coming around the buildings and over the hills. Out of Rose Bay, it's a shark island. It's pretty tricky. Looks like the Asco's
Injured itself.
got a they had that near capsize and something's gone wrong.
Looks like that. I know they were talking
Like the
about
vang's
some.
broken in to me.
They were talking about some strop on the vang that they were going to leave out or something. So I don't know whether that makes it. But yeah, it definitely looks vang related, doesn't it?
The Asco off the track by the look of that.
Looks terminal.
It's got that going home look about it, hasn't it? Meanwhile, the Bing
No
Lee's,
booming. No booming.
the Bing Lee has extended a lot. You know, they've done a nice job with the shifts up here.
Well, the Finport, I don't know if you had a look earlier, Ian, but they were mid-fleet halfway up the beach, so they've come into the running. As soon as they got hard right and got in a straight line, they've marched up on the other leaders here. Like they were 80 yards behind appliances online earlier. And they, you know, as you know from watching, they've been the most consistent boat thus far in the season.
Yeah, they look good there. You know, they're nicely balanced down low, sailing the boat well.
Got a completely different setup to everybody else, you know, in a sense. Harder sheeted, a little bit more twist today, but you know, typically they sail with less twist than anybody else in the fleet. Mainsail on the bottom edge of the depth range. Jib probably very, you know, rigging the boat very solid, deeper jib, so interesting. Pretty handy bloke in the bow of that boat too, I think, and Charlie Gundy. I think he's pretty useful watching him run around.
The one for the viewers at home, Bucko, to watch for out of this lead group. Now we're up in sort of the top 4 or 5. This is Royal Lake. They're on red, red, red. So all the closest marks. So the shortest track. So they might come out looking all right if they can just keep the wheels under the boat.
Yeah, that spacing of those marks is always a critical piece here, and seaplanes just looks like it's using the marks as a runway.
Rose Bay looks busy, mate, doesn't it?
But that yellow mark looks a bit further away than the others to me.
Well, and I think there had been some complaints from the back markers that they weren't getting a fair shot, you see, so the committee got, you know, remonstrated with, shall we say. Here we go. Travelling with the Finport. Nice tack.
He's
Tacking
gonna come
hasn't
out of
been their forte. They've been tacking without using any jib tacking at all, which executed well is good, but a little bit risky.
Bing Lee's having a bit of a match race here with the seaplane.
Yeah. I think the seaplane might be able to win that one.
Not sure.
Well, the Bing Lee gets, I think they're blue, white. I'm just trying to look them up quickly while I'm driving.
That's correct, James.
So, you know, they'll have a nice little lead here where the Finport's got to go all the way up to the white mark, which is today quite a fair distance apart compared to last week. We'll have the Royal Lake 4 Pines going around this red mark just in front of us. Take an early lead. And the Kitchen Maker goes around this red mark the first time as well, Bucko.
Yeah, they're reaching in, aren't they?
It's an amazing result. 2 red markers, first and second, up there.
Oh, well.
They would have gone closer crossing the Bing Lee there, most big fella.
Oh, they were well
Without
ahead
it
of the Bing Lee.
reaching.
Yeah, Bing Lee didn't do so well down there.
Oh,
The
Kitchen Maker
seaplane.
just having a bit of a moment.
No, that Southern Shore's paid nicely.
Hugely would be the word, wouldn't it? Hugely.
I'm just going to wait for the Finport and try and squeeze down in between the Finport, who've got to go all the way up top.
Breeze hard right, they're on a lane more or less, so Bing Lee will be next around.
I'm just trying to get out of the way of the winning group with the El Capitan mentor on board. Don't want to stuff them up too much.
Back on the Finport on the screen.
And got the Bing Lee bearing away right into the Finport coming up here. So the winning group goes around this blue mark as well, big fella. They go around this twice and then the white. And you got Vintech, Noakes, the rag all going around the red mark over, just off camera at the moment. We're just watching these guys. The winning group, blue, blue, white. Where are they off to?
I don't know.
No, wasn't in the manual.
They're supposed to have gone around blue,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, well, according to the little sheet here I got, the winning group, blue, blue, white.
Correct.
Yeah, he's always been very generous, the winnings.
That's right.
We'll go chase after the bulk of the fleet, because those guys will be a little whiles getting to us.
So the Smeg very out of whack.
And we just get Andy to come around to the left, and got the quality marine clothing there, Vet Heritage just going around the red mark. Marine, they were up there for a little bit, they might have had a little swim off camera, just chasing the Dalzotto, the mighty Dalzotto machine. They've been improving quite well over the last couple of weeks. You know, last week they managed to stay well in touch. You know, the handicap was very favourable to them, but you know, they managed to stay in touch. And when they crossed the line second, you'd swear blind they just won the JJs. How excited the boys were. It was really good to see.
That's what we like to see. For the youth doing well.
Chasing up on the Brett Van Munster here on the appliances online.
Anyone see what happened to the Smeg up that beat? They seem to get a little bit lost there somewhere.
I don't know, they might have been in the tide, I don't know.
There were a couple of boats in the tide, sort of mid-channel. I couldn't tell who they were. The Vintech getting carted by one there, right down over the front of the Rag and Famish.
Trips. This is a tricky leg, this one. The jibe mark is straight in front of where the camera boat is, so Noakes and Bingley favoured. The leader looks like he is too deep. And you can see the guys in front of us here in not very much wind at all, Bingley in particular.
No, the breeze is a little bit more south than you typically have on this course.
Yep.
And so this lake's a little bit of a struggle, but the kitchen makers looks like, you know, they're going to extend out down here.
Yeah, he's going to get there.
Yeah, that light patch has just come in nicely timed for him to get up to that wing mark. These guys are going to have to jibe down, which is going to be a net loss.
Yeah, these guys are praying for a good southerly puff.
The Royal Oak Hotel comfortably in second there. They're not too high up on their wires trying to get to that jibe mark. They're not far behind the kitchen maker.
That's a good little lull, isn't it? Wow.
I've just got the Rag coming up behind the camera cat, so I'm going to go left.
Bit of wind coming out of Double Bay now here. It's not going to be in time though.
They need this one, don't they? Oh, lucky to shoot. No, she's off. So that's what they needed. They needed that about 2 minutes ago, they didn't they? No, well.
Yeah, the Bingleys, yeah, they're struggling to even lay it. Just getting out into that breeze.
We get Andy to come around to his right a little bit, just where the Rag and the appliances online are. The quality marine clothing is just, it come down an absolute belter from the top mark. Probably 30, 40 seconds behind the Dalzotto, the Rag, and they're right there having a jibe on top, and looks like a jibe to swim. Commentator's curse, there you go. Sorry, Yvette. Dalzotto's joining the party.
Yeah, and Vintech's thinking about it.
Vintech's having a shot. Oh, they save it. Just.
And meanwhile, the kitchen maker and the Royal Oak Hotel are gone in the distance. They're round the jibe mark and they're well on their way down to Carraba Point, which is down Kirribilli way for those that not sure of the harbour. Over towards North Sydney, you got and Sean Langman on Noakes with Josh McKnight filling in on there today. They look like they're going to round third with Bingley not far behind them.
Noakes trying to run square to get to the mark.
Sails look a little bit smaller on the Noakes, or is that just because they're predominantly black?
Certainly not as big as some. I mean, it's a free choice, isn't it, Ian?
Just right in the boat here on the Vintech.
Those two boats in the water there, I think they're having a little discussion.
That'd be very polite. Well, the Vintech going to go on the
Vintech,
tide.
Vintech gone.
Yeah,
Right, I'm going to stop naming boats, I think. So far I put three in the tide.
And just out of shot with the fin port just at the mark now, coming with a great path. Amazing.
Sorry, Bucko.
Nothing can be done. So now VMG run down the harbour. About half a mile down to the bottom mark from where these guys are now. Breeze pretty volatile, as you would have seen. Some up under the shore there, some bits where the wind speed down to less than 5 knots.
For the viewers at home, I'm just way off screen, just watching the Yandu creep home with a broken boom over on the western side of Clark Island.
Must have some power in those new sails, breaking all the gear.
Getting the update off Chits for the point score, which wraps up today. It's a tight one between the Rag and Famish, the Finport and the Smeg. And at the moment, currently got Rag and Famish in the lead for that, with Finport 2 boats behind you. So on the racetrack, we've got the Kitchen Maker, the Royal Oak Hotel, Noakes Sailing, Bingley, Rag and Famish, Appliances Online, and then back to Finport. They're probably about 30 seconds behind, but that can all change in about 2 seconds today with the way the breeze has been coming and going.
Yeah, those two out in front, have established the big break on the rest of the fleet, so they're going to be hard to catch. Tricky day. Next run straight down the middle, so it loses that. They're not going to be driven up into double bay so much. So I think they'll probably all be keen to avoid in there. A little bit of snakes and ladders going on over there.
With that sort of lead, Ian, would you tend to avoid trying to get up in that side too much heading uphill?
Well, uphill, look, the winners were the winning points of the harbour were up under Bradley's Head.
The two edges.
And then crossing the tide and getting over to Double Bay and then working so it was work the left, then work the right. That's the way it looked to me.
Just looking downhill here at the Royal Oak Hotel, not in shot, but they look a bit cooked to get to the bottom mark. And
well, I think I've
the
just
kitchen
found
maker,
our bottom mark.
The Kitchen Maker in some bother there also.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to strip. They can't lay the mark, and even the Royal Oaks, they're on their ear down there and struggling to make the
Royal
mark.
Oak, well, here they go.
Noakes is coming in hot at the mark, and they're probably 100 metres, 150 metres to weather of the Royal Oak. So all that lead that they built up,
It's gone.
it's gone. So we do have a race back on our hands, and
Nothing changed. You still can't find the marks, right?
No, that's right.
Perfectly camouflaged, white with a little bit of orange against a sort of green, white and orange background. How could you not find it, It's in the same place, but you still got to find it, mate.
Anyway.
So the Noakes lead, how about that?
Head in the bow.
Andy, come around to your right, mate.
Spinnaker everywhere there.
Just getting Andy to come around. You got Noakes leading around this mark.
So Ian, have you run into Dave lately, the father of Ed?
No, but I run into Ed every day. He's at my house.
Is he? Oh, okay. I didn't realise that.
So we have Noakes still trying to pack a spinnaker in the boat, leading from Royal Oak Hotel. Rag and Famish managed just to squeeze inside the kitchen maker, just around that mark. Appliances online, and then followed by Bingley and Finport coming in a little bit square, and
The
make it
peloton
happen.
is rejoined. Amazing, isn't it?
But back when you boys sailed, you would have had to find the stick with the flag on it instead of the inflatable buoy, wouldn't you?
The super camouflage version.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had this one here, just like the flying squadron buoy.
They
Yeah.
made the stick longer after we complained, so that's the long stick version there, Jimmy. Can't see him. You can hardly see him from 200 yards away when you're on the 18. Like,
We could see in those days.
and we can see. I can still see that.
The Marine Pitwater coming in nice
On
and
the winning
square
group.
in
Take
the
it.
winning group after doing an extra long leg.
Big Louis break in the front of the winning group. Got those biceps out. Jamming it in the bag.
So Ian, one thing we are seeing, we saw last year in the Gildan, the guys who'd come out of the 49ers, particularly the young Kiwis, were very, very good at all the execution type stuff. And
Problem on the Royal Oak.
it would seem that this fleet could do with a bit of 49er training, or at least some of them could, yeah?
Yeah, well, those guys are Kiwis.
Yeah, I'm going to go to weather of the Smeg and in between the Lumix boys just to really slip.
People like Josh Bobrovsky and stuff, they're over there training every day in New Zealand 49ers. They just lift the sail, and I think it showed up when they got here.
Yeah, they were. I mean, and one thing that really stood out was their ability to actually dig a hole for themselves on the start line and sail slowly sideways or backwards or whatever to maintain a location. And so they were always able to start in a pretty favourable spot. I don't think they only had one bad start in the 8 races I watched.
I think it's a result. They do a lot of regattas in the year. Josh is, for example, has just sailed the 49ers, Europeans, World Championships in Denmark, Kiel Week. A lot of regattas, a lot of boats, and sailing a 49er. I don't know if you've seen them start, but they're on the starting line for 2 minutes. And
No, exactly. Entirely different idea, really.
They tack them, they back them up, they slide them sideways. They do it all to, they fight for a position off the start.
Yeah.
So it's interesting there. The appliances online got around the bow of the Noakes rigging and forced them off, and looks like they're pushing hard into the south head. And
Well, and I think this is
Closer
a
in the
fairly
lead.
big set of sails here.
yeah, big set of sails, all looking pretty nice on board there though.
Oh no, all good, but big. Look how big the jib is, my goodness.
Just had a quick look on my phone, Bucko. Craig Nichols, who's watching at home, just had to ask you boys what about the stick marks in Perth, trying to find those.
Oh, fast Eddie. Thanks, Ed.
So these guys are pushing hard into the south. The Bingley leading the pack, and they've just really bent around to the right and seeing some southerly breeze and tacking, and be pretty interesting to see them. They're almost on the ley line to the top marker.
Yeah, except they've run out of wind a bit as well.
They've really pushed it this way.
Well, the boys over under the zoo, they look like they've all run out of wind over there as well. So
Well, the amazing thing is, Appliance has forced Noakes to tack off a little bit, and Noakes has tacked back over here, and everything they tacked away is lost.
Yeah. And the appliances just stood into a great line of wind. And so they've joined the dots together pretty well this beat, haven't they?
Yeah, they certainly have. They've left, they haven't left anything for anyone so far, and they're sailing in a nice shift.
And they're being into a header here going, what are we thinking?
Well, all of a sudden you get that 10 or 15 degrees shift of left and right, and with the amount of separation between the boats and the leverage at the speed of these boats, that, you know, there's big losses and gains that can happen quickly.
I'm just going to pull on the anchors here for a second, just let nakes go through if that's what they want to do. And then get back up behind the bingers.
So we saw that left-hand pay coming out where Kitchen Maker is. They did well on the first beat, and they liked it so much they went back for more, and it looks like it's working for them again.
Big cat in the background. Kitchen Maker's just there. So
yeah, no, she looks
pretty good.
She looks well placed, you know. You know, they didn't get around that bottom mark so well because they went to the wrong place and had to drop their spinnaker, so they went around third or fourth. Things going all right on the Kitchen Maker.
But he's now into a header with less wind. It blinds well across him, man. But no.
No, she's over there in the right.
Having a fight with a 12-footer.
We'll try and pick up here on the Kitchen Maker and follow them across for the cross with appliances online, which I think appliances are pretty comfortably, big fella.
Scarly and company.
No, the appliances just died now again. You know, it's I don't think you're safe anywhere at the moment.
I'm feeling like I'm available to commentate on anyone that wants someone out of a race at the moment.
Big money, mate.
And that's a sign of it. The appliances, you know, they were so headed on starboard tack that, you know, they've tacked back to not throw their leverage and look for the breeze to come back out of Double Bay out in that southerly direction, which these 12-foot skiffs are showing, and trying to maintain. But right now the Kitchen Maker's got the better of them.
It's a good solid 30 degrees there, isn't it? Is there? And a modern cruising boat in front of us with a flatty on. All good.
It's back to the future, really, isn't it?
Yeah, great stuff. Well, Ian, no doubt you've been enjoying a bit of ocean racing with 3 sails in front of the mast and all that.
Yeah, apparent wind sailings, you know, there's a lot of that going on, and you know, it was used to great effect in the Volvo race. You know, they really figured out how to get the most out of those boats downwind in the Volvo race, and safe and fast, and using headsails to go downwind, which is something that, and across the wind, is something has been really developed over the short period of time. So there's more of it, and the sails are developing, and the materials, as you know, we've watched over the last 20 or 30 years, we've gone from Dacrons and into all these black carbon fibre sails have really structurally changed what you can do with them.
Very nice sheets of metal in effect, aren't they?
Flexible metal.
Flexible metal, exactly, and not very flexible metal at that.
So the appliance and the Kitchen Maker, you know, just coming together here, and after all of that, appliances crosses just ahead, so that little tack back and maintain their position in the south work for them.
And the fin port and rag out to the left, Ian. Yeah.
Oh, and
Tell you what, I think the fin port's leading.
fin port is leading. Coming out from Bradley's Head again.
So just a game of find the wind.
Come around and we'll follow the appliances online, and so that'll pick up the rag, and the fin port's just the weather of them. No signage on.
Back together.
No, there's a lot of snakes and ladders going on out here today.
So the fin port in there good medium range high boat, Ian. They're pretty hard to beat actually on a wind, as you would have seen. But they've also probably joined the dots together pretty well this beat.
And interestingly, this battle in front of us that we got on screen is the battle for the point score.
Okay.
So you got Finport are going to have to go around the furthest mark being the white mark, and the Rag and Famish go around a blue mark this time, I think, Bucko, you'll find. So that'll give them a little bit of separation, but the way the Finport's sailing, they'll come back into it. It's got a couple of 12s going past us here.
Well, I mean, James, remember halfway at the first beat he was mid-fleet and about a minute deficit, I would have estimated.
It's the Finport's a bit of a pacer, not a sprinter.
Northern Shore, left-hand side of the course, has just paid huge dividends.
Yeah, a bit of structural rotation, I think, here, mate.
The amazing thing is that,
Permanently left.
you know, the guys who came off Bradley's head named straight at the Point Piper here and landed on this point. It worked last time, and it looks like it's going to pay again. The kitchen maker, who left a little bit over on Bradley's head and thought they'd come over in a nice lift, have lost it.
Got hosed.
Yeah, that's called, that's a knitting manual, isn't it?
The knitting
one
manual.
pearl two.
One pearl two. Here we go. Travelling with it.
Rag and Famish tacking
Rag.
in, your Finport will cover them off surely.
They're obviously racing for the World Championships here. The cover's been clamped on. Rule
So
one
it's
in
amazing,
sailing.
isn't it, Ian? In 1 mile, probably, of sailing, the Finport has put 300 yards, like 20% of a mile into the boats they were previously travelling with. Amazing.
Well, you look at the Bing Lee, you know, they were a long way ahead of them, and, you know, they dug into that southern shore and lost everything.
Have the 12s got a States or something on?
No, they're just warming up for Indian Dominion. 10 boats on the water today.
Yeah, I'm thinking there's a few more 12s than normal.
So Ian, we were talking last week about the 12, and you know, through the season we were talking about the 12 as sort of the training ground. And for the benefit of the viewers, you started sailing at 12 at the ripe age of
Probably 13,
14, after the Cherub, right?
after the Cherub, yeah.
So for the viewers offshore, the Cherub's a single trapeze, quite light, 110 pound restricted sail area boat with about 120 square feet of sail, 12 footer, no hull weight restriction, 3 rigs.
No, 110 pounds.
110 pounds, same as the Cherub, okay, I stand corrected.
Oh, the 12 footer?
Yeah, the 12 footer.
No
Restriction, okay.
Yeah, restrictions are, it starts at 2:30 like the 18s.
Start at 2:30 and bring it on.
Yeah.
And then back in the day, for you, 3 pieces of pole.
Up to 3 pieces in the pole, yeah,
And 3 spinnakers in the boat, yeah?
2 spinnakers most of the time, yeah. No, they were really difficult boats to sail and jibe.
We made the comment, if you could sail one of those, you could sail anything. I think it still remains the case, mate, doesn't it?
Yeah, look, they've progressed to the fixed poles and asymmetric spinnakers and stuff, so they're a lot, finer, more detailed boats than they were in my day. In my day, there was sort of, they wanted to capsize in any direction.
Yep, sideways, forwards, backwards, they could do it all, indeed. We're travelling here with the Rag and Famish Hotel, second place.
Just trying to get the Finport in the background of the shot here, Bucko, just to give
Finport
the viewers at home a bit of a
to windward,
idea.
And able to
Get
hurt
Andy to come around to his right, go around to the right, Andy.
Able to hurt him a bit here, Finport.
And there's the gap between first and second at the moment.
Finport doing a bit of spearing, Jones. Just getting lined up to clamp them, I'd suggest.
Well, they're going to clamp them, they're going to be all over them. They can tack here and leave these guys crumbs, really.
The Finport has to tack first. Okay. Not much wind. Finport just standing into a puff. Wow.
Who would you say is in third at the moment, Ian? Looking back there.
I think Appliances probably. You know, they're on that right shore, which southern shore, which seems to be playing quite nicely at this top end of the course. But you know, these guys are in more easterly north slant over here, so it's changing quickly, as we've seen a number of times, and it's trying to get the best out of both sides is the trick. And Finport's and the Rag, they've done a good job of it.
Got a nice little wave maker just coming through in front of Finport just to throw something at him.
So the Rag's going to the blue mark or the red mark?
Blue mark, mate. And Finport's got to go all the way up to the white mark, the furthest mark up in Rose Bay.
That's going to sort of pull them back to the fleet a bit.
Yeah, I think the Finport's done quite a good job here though. Off into the puff, these guys are in no air. They've got to do 2 tacks in no wind.
Yeah,
Finport could tack and lay from where they are now near enough, I would think, in the middle of that puff.
looks like the Finport's about to get a bit more breeze coming out of Wallara there.
The golf course wind here.
Just got to look at that flag over there on the top of the golf course.
Yeah. So he's cracked sheets to
Long
the
way
mark
left.
near enough, I reckon, there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in good shape. The Rag will be leading down the run, just so.
Yeah, this big good opportunity. The last run's too short.
Rag and Family's just about to attack here to go around their blue mark.
Yeah, they're going to be comfortably gone.
The Finport searching for a bit of pressure up there, trying to make it all the way up into that white mark, which is quite a disadvantage today.
Yeah, there's not much wind up there for Finport as well.
Oh,
It's big header going left, so
big header, but a good puff just rescued him in a bit.
the Rag's nearly got the spinnaker up. There we go. They're off.
Just got Andy coming back around to the Rag and Famish who've just rounded this mark, and off they go.
The kitchen maker looks like they've rounded up the Appliances. They got a bit over there to the northern side, which didn't go well for them.
The kitchen maker are going to the blue. Where is the Appliances on line going? They're going to blue. And
They don't look like they're quite laying it. Well, maybe.
yep, and you got Noakes they got to go to blue. So all this group that's coming up are all going to blue.
Yeah, the peloton's on the blue mark is the summary of that.
Including the yeah.
Yeah, well lifted there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just going to get to the weather side.
His next puff though, by the look of that.
So just getting the camera to come back around. We're just trying to get out of the way of the Finport, who's very lifted coming up into.
He's got the header now,
Wallara.
Jimmy. He's right. He's
And
okay.
they're away.
Normal transmission has been resumed.
Yeah, that extra buoy length on Finport, you know, it's lost them a lot of track position here too. A lot of boats in between.
They're still up near the front, mate. So they're on the podium nearly with 2 unwinds done.
It's got to be disheartening though, doesn't it? Like, you know, you sail on that distance and you finally get in front of them and you do everything right, and then the other guys go to a shorter mark. Big mooch along, Matt Allen, out of Yachting Australia.
The big fella's boss.
Australian sailing, yeah. He's director of the Australian Olympic Committee.
He's just getting his values worth from a few of the customers there, telling him what they think of him.
So Herman's gone round the right mark this time. Maybe he's going to do it the other way round. He's going to do white, blue, blue.
Can you do that?
I don't know.
That was a question I had the other day. I was thinking at home. I was like, can they just, if it's there, can you do it?
Oh,
You get Andy just to come around to our right a little bit. And you got the Oaks, Royal Oak, Four Pines just
They're in
about to
trouble.
hit the tide. There's a little bit of a mix-up happening down there.
yeah, and very difficult winds just here.
I'm just going to stay still because we've got the winning group going to come flashing before our eyes.
The new chutes look a bit wobbly to me. I don't know what's going on there, Ian, but
That's an old chute.
that's an old chute, is it?
Yeah.
We'll just
Oh,
get
shoot,
Andy
the
to
middle,
come
the
around to
new
his
middle.
right
New
again.
W.
We're going to pick up the winning group and go have a look at them.
That old problem, a bit of old and a bit of new, I think.
Okay. Yes. Not
Got a
looking
bit
too
of a clear
stable.
track here to get through.
Have a look at the boys. Around the back of the cruising boat at full noise. Wow. Sorry, viewers, off shot, but wind,
It's way
big
through there.
rotation too. Big rotation. Wind almost east northeast now. Almost.
We've just got Katie Love on the Lumex tacking out of the way of the winning group, giving a little wave to say sorry. No need for the wave. And off camera down there, like have a look at the angles between the rag and the fin port at the moment. Like it's no good for the guys at home. Way out of shot for us, even if we try and zoom in on it. Just going to try and sneak down to the leeward side here of the winning group. Have a bit of a look.
Pretty jittery looking sail there.
The white one or the black one?
The white one.
Yeah, I don't
Bit-
know the history of all that.
Bit too much luff sag, mate, but anyway.
Yeah, jibing.
Yeah, well, interesting.
Job, hey. Alright, we're going to shoot down and try and catch up with the fin port with Lawrence's and the Armarine down here. We'll leave the winning group. Times like that, they bucko that, sometimes you make one little error with a grease line and you compound it by trying to overdo it with others, by trying to make it back up, right?
Yeah, but the point being that they both sort of travel through the lee of the island twice,
Yeah.
So this side will pay. The guys that have come to this side got out somehow from Point Piper, have gapped the peloton here. I mean, look how much Big Lee's, Finport's made up. It's a huge gain, even though they didn't jibe very well.
It's got some various waves here for you, Bucko.
So the Rag and Famish is winning the series right now, aren't they?
Correct, yeah.
And what marks have they come to top this last time?
Same again. It's just a short run of the finish.
So they're going to get, Rag's going to get that advantage up the top again.
The fin port's got to go all the way up to the white mark again, and the furthest one up there. Just for the viewers at home, you've got Marcus Ashley James here in the fin port, and the usual skipper Keegan York sliding forward onto the chute. Jack Gundy up the bow again, which is a good little combination. He seems to be working it quite well, slotting into the fin port up the bow.
The Rag and Famish is almost in a nor'easter over there.
Exactly. And these guys are in, southeast, so they're separated by about 600 metres, and big change in the wind direction. These guys are going right down the middle here, I think, Ian. Get the ley line right into the bottom, they'll be a threat.
Yep. And the fin port's just about to jibe and head back at the Marine over to our right. Got one of those big green and yellow things coming from Circular Quay, which has probably been a bit of a...
Right, he's got a few marks there.
And I suppose, yeah, if they pick up what the Rag and Famish was on way off in the distance there, that you'd want to be jibing early.
It's amazing, the Rag and Famish just continue on with that breeze they've got. And these guys are pointing at them, but it's starting to come down a little bit now. Had a good run down there. 12-foot skiff and Rag and Famish. Good solid breeze coming down behind us.
Yeah, the fin port's off now in pressure.
And the Marine above them just got a nice header there.
And Bradley's head puff.
Just about to maybe get the fin port. Yeah, here we go. Here's the fin port, just getting the header. You'd probably take all of that at the moment, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, they're
Just
still
let it
above the
run.
lay, not by much. They're pretty good, I reckon, James. Mark's down there near the 12-footers in the background. Just VMG running here.
So the Rags coming in, they look pretty pressed up down there. They've actually got the breeze back the other way, so they're connecting it all nicely. And
Yeah, they've gone pretty well down the run, haven't they?
approaching the mark, yeah, so they're going to have a drop jibe around this mark and going to have a very comfortable lead.
I didn't say it, so they should have the very comfortable lead. I won't put them in the tide like I put everyone else in the tide.
That's right. Well, they're almost there. They could almost have a little swim and get away with it. Anyway, Spinnaker coming down. Taking it conservative, as they should. Nice lead.
Just off shot behind us, you've got...
Oh, and they're about to run into the 12-foot skiff, and they're tangled up.
They are, no. Oh,
And
they are
then
having
they
a
go.
laugh.
And gone. Problem.
The Rag and Famish came around the mark, straight into a 12-footer with the Spinnaker. Yeah, fair few words being said, I'm sure.
Just keeps giving this race, doesn't it? Sort of.
He did.
I didn't mention Rag. I
You
left
did
it.
too.
I left it to the big fella to say that, you know, they
Must
could
be
almost have a swim and whatever.
The big
and
fella said that the opera singer was warming up, you see. It was the kiss of death.
maybe it is just it might be the Clontarf Street curse, big fella.
That might be it. Anyway, Brad Man Munster, my pick.
Coming right back into it.
He's just battling, or he's just chipping away.
These boys, beautiful jibe on the fin port.
So it looks like the Rag's up. I'm not sure if they're still connected to that 12-foot skiff. Two 12-foot skiffs in the water down here.
That'd be the icing, wouldn't it? You finally get moving and you plough into the other one as they're pulling it up. You just...
Anyway, they're off, and they're still going to be in the lead, and they've got that advantage at the top market. So
The other one that's
Don't
for the
bring your
viewers
tickets
at
up
home to watch is Marine Pitwater. They've got to go to the red mark next time up, so they'll still be right in the mix here. But Finport closed up that gap massively with the Rag and Famish having a tangle with a 12-footer. The problem for the viewers at home that we got is the 12-footers mark is what, probably 30 foot away from the 18s mark, and we've got a whole harbour to use, and we're sitting on top of each other.
we had that problem at the start last week too, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Better get the comms going.
So Rag and Famish from the Finport. Then
Boats that were the Bermuda Cat, so still doing the race officer work for them as well.
Yeah, there's plenty of interest, I can tell you, in the fraternity about that event as well. We're all looking forward to watching a bit of high-speed crash and burn or whatever it turns out to be.
Well, they're sailing the boats in Whangarei in New Zealand, and they're touching 50 knots. They're certainly high performance.
That's awesome. So that course is going to be right here.
They're sailing the 18-footer course on the 15th and 16th of February at 4 to 6 on the 15th and 3 to 5 p.m. on the Saturday. So it's the harbour's going to be locked down, transit passages around the edges, and they're going to burn up this small harbour pretty quickly.
Crash helmets and body armour, here we go. So just if you can just talk through to for the troops and for me as well, the development of coaching. We see, that Victor Kovalenko and his ilk, but we see a lot of guys and seemingly coaching becoming extremely effective.
Well, I think, look, the art of coaching has developed. When we all grew up, we didn't have coaching. Coaches were the parents standing on a headland.
Yeah.
and an occasional picture we might analyse, but the art and the data and the electronics and the tracking of the boats and the high-speed videos.
You've got way more hard information.
There's real information.
Yeah, real information, exactly.
So we've got the Rag, who I think's just in the lead ahead of the Marine, and the fin port's coming off Bradley's Head, which has proved so effective on the first two legs. So it's going to be close up here, and I think in the end of the day, the fin port's probably going to lead, but she's going to have to sail to that furthest mark, which is going to be telling to see if they can get enough gap to to get ahead. But the Rag's in a nice position here on the race course. They're in that right hand side. They're in a right hand shift right now.
Just get Andy to come around to his left and pick up the Marine.
Breeze bending right here where the camera cat is, where Marine is,
and we're just going to see how the cross with the fin port. That'll dictate it. Where we're all at.
Wow. And for the troops, just to the windward mark and then a run to the finish. Run to the finish at the entrance of Double Bay. So very short runway for anybody trying to make up any places.
That's going to be a tricky run down there, and getting around the headland there, and it's proven tricky, but the Marine just ahead of the fin port.
Fin port a little duck, but happy in a left-handed puff.
And the Rag just ahead of the fin port. Just.
Okay. Yep.
So if I was on the Rag, I wouldn't be getting too far from the fin port. I'd be just sort of not risking too much and trying to keep it close and knowing that I've got that advantage at the top mark.
Yeah, so the Marine goes around the red mark, the closest mark, the big fella. The Rag and Famish go around the blue, the middle one, and then fin port again have to go all the way up to that white mark. So the fin port's sailing really well, and they're probably 2 minutes difference at that set in time, and they've managed to claw all that back, and then they're same thing's going to happen to them again, but they haven't got the runway to get to the finish line with it.
No, trickier run this time though, but the Marine's not in the hunt for the long game here of the series overall though.
No.
So the game here is the Rag versus the fin port by the look of it, and the Rag, they're keeping it tight. They're going to close them off on the headland over here. Nice
and
shift.
Rag in a nice bit of wind too.
Yeah, that just lengthened out on them a bit.
They're just going a little bit soft here on the rag and famish at the moment. Just got one guy in off.
There's more coming though. And,
Got a good puff now.
The fin port, they're lifted down there, so it's tough for them to get back right now. And the appliance is online. She's just sneaking into the back of this group here.
Yeah, so the fin port Proddy's going to end up fourth, what you'd suspect, wouldn't you? Given everything we can see.
And Breeze is really trying hard to get around to the northeast. It's been drifting left all day. And looking at their angle there, they're well and truly up. And you know, Finport ducked them only 5 minutes ago, and now they're 100 metres behind.
The old snakes and ladders, and the Finport got a snake.
So I think the rag and famish, they'll return the favour from getting tacked on in the last leg up here from Finport. I'm sure they're just looking. Yeah, we're just about up when we might tack now. And the appliance online, you know, ducking the Finport, so got a 4-boat race all of a sudden.
The appliance is online going around the blue mark, just for your reference, big fella.
So we would imagine that the first 3 boats will be these 3 here, and the Finport will get relegated to 4th by the handicap unwind. What's going on, Chip?
Just got Chips going forward just to sort out some things. Very close racing here between the rag and famish and the marine off screen. You can't really see it at the moment until we get the battery power back for the forward facing camera.
Looks like we're nicely synced with the seaplanes today. Old Hawker de Havilland Beaver,
Right-handed puff.
Most efficient planes of turning fuel into noise.
Yeah. Smell of Jet A1. Is that what they use?
Oh, these things run on anything. 9-cylinder radial engine.
Fish and chip oil.
World War II engines.
So just got Andy, we've just got the rear facing camera now and just got Andy standing up the front. You lay down, Andy, and hang over the front. I'll do it that way. At the moment on the course we've got rag and famish and Armarine. Well, Armarine's, they'll have the race win comfortably there. I think you'll find. I'll put the curse on them now.
Yeah, we worked at the bottom mark, but the rag is, they're obviously very aware of the overall situation, and they're staying with the Finport and letting the Armarine go. That's not their race, really.
No, well, that's the smart money, isn't it? You're keeping the game that you're playing. Just keep an eye on the Finport over there for us, Bucko, and trying to reverse out of a hole.
So for the viewers, we just had a little technical problem with our larger forward-facing camera. So we're a bit diminished here to
if you get a bit seasick at home, it's
small,
Andy swinging one way to the other.
Handheld. So you're going to get some funny pictures here, guys. Young Andy, the cameraman. Oh dear. Oh dear.
There we go, we're back on. We're on the rag.
We're on the race leader. More or less.
Rag. Wind's not kind of them there. It's
In the R Marine, they go around the mark just to the left here of the rag and famish. The R Marine Pitwater. I think the sponsors, I've seen a couple of the sponsors down the club earlier on.
yeah, they're going to be in good shape, the R Marine, to be first home.
And just off camera, you got Brett Van Munster on the appliances online coming in hot at this mark. And I think we've really got a battle on our hands here between the rag and famish. And they've been a bit unkind. The breeze has been a bit unkind to them coming into this top mark. And Finport off camera are, you know, they're coming in with plenty of pressure at their top mark, that white furthest mark that they have to go around.
Yeah, the appliances coming right in on the mark, got the right of way. They're going to be, they're going to get around this mark.
I think the rag looks like it might attack just a fraction early there.
Oh, he's good, James.
No, they're trying hard on the rag to give the Finport a shot at the title here.
No. Ian, Van Munster heard that you'd backed him. Got, you know.
Anyway, it's
it's been cruel to the rag though, hasn't it?
That hurts.
The rag and the Finport are going to go around their marks respectively at similar times, and the rag's just going to have that downwind head start. And Herman, he's coming in hot.
And just got the on the winning group here.
Herman being
Looks
John,
like he's
John
done
Winning
it
Jr.
white, blue, blue as we thought he might. Oh, not so good. Louis Brake out there having a little swim. Don't let go.
No, you're right. He's on the hook.
There we go. And coming in.
Not the way to do it, but effective.
It's a way to do it, James.
Yeah.
So pretty good last bit of the beat for the Finport. They'll be ruining their little sort of error halfway up there, Ed, wouldn't they, where they go back 100 yards.
Yeah, they got it back a bit at the end, and Rag and Famish was feeling sorry for them there. They gave a lot away to the appliances online. And meanwhile, the R Marine have done it all right out in front.
We'll chase down, give the R Marines some coverage home. R Marine Pitwater, that is. Yeah.
Got to go there, mate.
All right. Get instructions to stay with the rag and the appliances online, which are in a tight little tussle. Bringing the Starship Enterprise around. The rag and famish have got to just keep obviously eye over their shoulder, everything that the Finport's doing, just to make sure they're between them and the finish line, right?
Pretty hard to cover here under the Point Piper though, James. They've just
Yeah.
got to stay in the breeze, really.
It's a question, do you go far enough to get out of the lee of Point Piper, or do you try and cut the corner and make sure you can lay? So it's
I think the R Marines done quite a good job where they went in. They sort of stayed in the wind and they're down on the ley line. So R Marine leads, but we're just going to stay here with these guys. They're in not much pressure here. Appliances and Rag and Famish for the Spring Championship. Rag and Famish.
So the appliances online just jiving there.
probably on a pretty good line there, I'd say too. It's a conservative line. It's got a nice gust there, aiming at the finish. So the Rag's going to follow, which they are.
And I've thrown the Finport in the winning group. That sort of just got caught up there right on that point with no pressure. Just here on the appliances online. going to wait for the rag to come scooting down, and we'll follow them into the finish for the viewers at home.
So getting a little high here for Brett, and probably getting a little bit nervous and thinking, do I take another drive out here? I think he probably is. It's time to go, boys.
A little puff coming out of the beach up here, but keep shooting, mate.
Keep shooting, mate. Don't worry about it. We'll just get on the rag coming down. Andy.
Andy, come round to your right, buddy, just on the rag.
So limited camera resources. The rag jibing out. Wow, that's interesting.
I think the rag's just covering off the fin port, but falling into hole, not much wind, and the blinds online. They're probably looking at her over here in no wind.
So typical soggy easterly now. Big holes. Find a puff and try and stay in it. The rag got going again. Yeah, the fin port's fast though, isn't it, Ian? They make up, they make up, they make up.
Look, they're doing the basics right. They're sailing the boat, executing their manoeuvres well. Nice trim, sailing upwind. The rag's not taking any chances. They're staying between the mark and the boat behind. 101 in sailing.
Fin port coming on the face of a boomer though.
It's going to be a photo finish, I think.
Get Andy, Andy, if you can Andy, if you come around to your left a little bit, we'll try and pick up fin port and the rag all in one shot, please.
Just watch over your shoulder, Jimmy. Andrew. Jimmy, you got the winning grip, yeah?
Yeah, I've got a 12-footer in the bow too, mate.
Well, just hit them all, mate. Do what Kilo would have done.
Well, as
Just bounce
Bear
off
Munster
everything.
said to me this morning, he goes, well, don't hit a boat a season, I'm not getting close enough. But this is going to be an unbelievable finish between the fin port and the rag, isn't it?
So the winner out of these two takes the money. Is that the way it works?
That's
Yeah.
how it works. 2 more jives, man. What
Right.
could possibly go wrong?
Well, I think it's straight through right now.
Is it? Yeah, enough header.
So
300 metres to the finish.
300 yards to the finish.
I don't know this yards thing you talk about.
Yards, metres. we go in chains, roots and perches in a minute. Wow, little cruising boat in the way. Pleasantly oblivious.
Andy, just point it down. a
The
little
fin
bit,
port
a bit
pressing
on
up
top.
to
That's it.
try and get onto the wind of the rag and famish, not probably able to do so.
just going to hang on.
Yep.
A little gust, bring them home.
Yeah.
So that'd be the appliances online second, wouldn't it?
That's correct, Ian.
Lines
You've got the podium, son.
You got the podium? And the
The
rag
fin port does
third,
have to jibe, so.
the fin port jibing.
And fin port just going to have to jibe back, I think, here. Yep.
It's going to be close for the fin port.
No, he'll be right.
They're home.
Yeah.
The winning group.
They didn't leave enough room for the winning group.
And then
Well done to those guys. Winning group, Noakes 5th. So that's a pretty impressive performance from those boats, particularly from the fin port there, I thought, Ian.
Yeah, they, as you say, they didn't jump out of the blocks and sailed nicely through the fleet. Sailed the long course.
Yeah, unbelievable.
I think easily the fastest boat of the day.
And they've been going to the, well, and fast always makes you look clever, as you know, but they look tactically pretty good for the whole day, didn't they? Once they got out of the peloton on the first beat, they mostly joined the dots together very well.
Yeah, they were solid, and you can't take it away from Armourine, who had a good day. Sure, they're on the red marks, but the rag had a mission today, and they accomplished. So
we've got young Maxie Nerney, the skipper's son, on board the camera cat today of the Armourine Pittwater. So maybe we might be seeing a bit more of Simon. Might be chucking young Maxi on board every few more weeks.
Right.
It's all good.
Got to keep the winning formula going.
So we're just going to cover the little award ceremony here. The traditional method in the 18-footer fleet is to award on the water the ribbon to the winner and the rag. And it's a perilous adventure, isn't it, Ian? In the lee of the ferry. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? At least the boats have got bumper bars on the outside these days.
Yeah.
The racks.
Just got the Rag and Famish Hotel, just heading over towards the spectator ferry.
Hello, beautiful. Got some fans on Matty Allen's boat here. All good.
18-footer fans or Bucko fans?
No, 18-footer fans, Ian.
Sound like Bucko fans to me, big
she's
fella.
a fluto.
And Love and Wars came out to grace the finish as well. Beautiful Love and War.
Cheers. Take a picture of my friend over here. Come on, son. You can do it. You've got permission. Come on. You're on. Smile. Got you.
Andy, we've got to stay on the Rag and Famish. That's all you got to point at, buddy.
Despite all the pleasant distractions.
So the Rag and Famish's got to come back around.
Has anyone told them they need to go and get that ribbon?
Yeah, they know what they have to do, but action at the finish line, wow.
They're coming home thick and fast.
If you can have Max just looking at my screen once in a while, because it might come on.
I can see it here.
Oh, you can see it there. Flash.
Here they go. Final approach for the Rag.
Dave's the ribbon man, is he?
The ribbon or something, man.
Man for all occasions.
And here's the Rag coming in to receive the ribbon for the
Seriously
point score.
dangerous manoeuvre.
Here we go.
Lee of the ferry. Oh,
Oh,
Fucked
just
her up.
hear carbon
Not-
crunching,
not
can't
too-
you?
not too bad.
They normally put a rubber duck in between it, don't they?
Yeah, that's a safe procedure, but
Too close, Chits, or?
Oh. So the ribbon's in the water. The boat's disconnected. It's not going well. The ribbon's sinking.
you would have thought they would have got to the buoyant ribbon by now, wouldn't you? It was always a problem.
Used to be about 30 feet long. You used to be able to stream it out.
Yeah. I remember it was always dangerous approaching
Andy,
the ferry for the
Reagan
disgruntled punters as well, though,
Yeah,
mate.
one boat.
No, punters that hadn't won wasn't good either.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, and we've
No, we're
just
in
had
good shape.
Dougie Cameron just retrieve the ribbon.
The ribbon's been
We-
recovered.
We're going to follow Dougie to go hand this ribbon off. There you go, young Aaron holding the ribbon.
The ribbon's only about 6 feet long these days. There's sort of
Budgets, mate.
budget restrictions.
Big budget restrictions.
That's not a ribbon.
They haven't quite been the same since Alf Beechel used to hand write them in gold leaf.
That's right.
The viewers at home, what they do, they tie the ribbon onto the spinnaker halyard and hoist that up the top of the mast. But I think you probably find the 6-foot version's no good with the head of these mainsails they got now, big fella, compared to back in your day where it was a pin top and a 30-foot ribbon. Should be the other way around almost, right?
Yeah, something like that. Oh, it'll fly up there. You've got to get it up there without getting it tangled.
It'll do something. We did have a bit of trouble back in the day. A windward set. He's going to do the windward set. Oh, what could go wrong?
Just getting the thumbs up off Brycey Edwards.
You're good to go, let it go. Hold it loose.
There we go.
Yeah. How about a bear away? A little bit apparent wind.
Do it upwind. Oh, that's got a tangle.
Oh,
Oh, it's there.
got the job done.
Well done.
Not
well
bad,
done to
man.
the Rag and Famish.
Yeah, I think you need to review the length of that ribbon.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chits. So, Brycey Edwards, Rory Cox and Jacob Broom take home the spring point score.
Yeah.
On the mighty Rag and
Despite
Famish, North
doing-
Sydney.
Doing their best to give it back with a swim at the bottom mark when they got tangled up with a 12-footer. But
Well, maybe they were just looking at the 12 saying, no, we don't want to sail one of them.
that's right. No, fair enough too. Well done. Kids. Yep.
Might have been getting some better odds.
Oh, well.
Had a plant on the ferry.
They will shorten her up for next week, the handicap. All good. So, Ian, thanks for joining us today. Look forward to later greater adventures on Sydney Harbour with you in charge. Always good. James, Mr. Chittenden, Andy,
Thanks, Bucko.
young Sam, all good today. Thanks, everybody. Camera Cat standing by for next week, same time, same place. Over and out.